All right, let's talk some George Pickens, how he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're going to start off with this play. So it's going to be a man coverage play that he's going up against, and you see where he is on the field. He's going to be running a quick slant route kind of over the middle, and since this is going to be a situation where there's no one over the middle of the field, really you can throw it anywhere you want to if you're the quarterback here. Although you don't know that no one's going to be over the middle of the field right away, so there is a linebacker who could potentially be covering over the middle of the field. He instead is going to, I can't tell if he was blitzing or he just really bit on the play action, but regardless, he's going to get out of the play, but you don't know that. So a lot of times when you run these plays, you want to sort of look towards your receivers who are closest towards the outside. And also given that Pickens has done a pretty good job this preseason and has shown some promise, and especially in training camp and stuff like that, looking in his direction makes sense because he's someone who can win one-on-one. Look at how right when this play begins, he is going to cut over the middle, and you see how open he got. So this is just all you wanted him to do, is win your one-on-one matchup. It doesn't really matter if he makes the catch here. It doesn't really matter if this throw is complete. All that I care about is, are you getting separation? Are you winning your matchups? Which Pickens has done a very good job of, and did a very good job of in college, in my opinion. When this throw is made, he makes the catch, he breaks a tackle, and he's going to pick up a first down right there. So Pickens being able to do that, I think, is very good. It was a great job by Pickens. Now, is he someone who can win on the outside consistently? Well, let's talk about that. So let's go over to this play, and this is the question we always ask with young wide receivers, and why it's just so difficult to tell sometimes if wide receivers are going to work in the NFL or not. I always think about, Corey Davis and Jamar Chase actually had very similar athletic profiles outside of when they came out of college. In fact, both were selected exactly 5th overall, but obviously Jamar Chase has had a lot more success just in 1 year than a Corey Davis had. Davis has been a fine player, but the real difference has just been that Jamar Chase's moves on the outside have worked, which has turned him into this awesome player. Corey Davis, those kind of moves, like what you're going to see on the screen, he wasn't able to win in these situations as much, meaning that he wasn't really able to be that dominant number one receiver that people thought he could be. And there's just a big question of, how do you figure out if your moves will work in the NFL or not? Well, one way to figure it out is watching guys play against NFL players. So let's see what Pickens is going to do here. So again, just to set the stage, single safety deep coverage, you have a receiver, George Pickens, running a go route towards the bottom of the screen. Really only the corner is going to be able to pick him up. So a one-on-one matchup deep down the field. These are the situations where if your receiver can win, it just makes things a lot easier. It just helps set things up, because if your receivers can't win here, well, then the defense can play one safety deep all game. You're not going to be able to run much. You're not going to be able to get much underneath. And if you can't win down the field, you can't take advantage of the fact that there's a lack of resources there. Watch how when Pickens takes the snap, he is going to get the sort of outside leverage right here, and it's going to some degree turn into a foot race. But look, as you see, first off, this is a great throw. Puts it where Pickens can make the grab. Pickens is not quite able to make the grab. So you want to see him make those plays. You want to see him be able to do that. I think he does. I think he's done a good job this preseason. He did a good job in college, and he still just nearly missed this one. So I'm actually still kind of optimistic about this type of play, even if it didn't exactly work. It came close enough to me that I am not concerned about it at all, because he still was able to get enough of an opening that, a quarterback who has accuracy can hit him, and he nearly made a relatively tough grab. We then saw this play, which, hey, this looks familiar, doesn't it? Well, yes, it is very familiar in terms of the play itself. It's a little bit different in terms of the concept. The last one was technically zone. This one is technically man, but it's essentially going to be the same thing. A one-on-one matchup deep down the field with a single safety deep. Although the defense, is showing as though it could be two safeties deep. So it's not going to actually be that way, but the quarterback does not notice at the time. So that's, doesn't really come into play, but that's just kind of, another slight difference here. Anyways, watch how when Pickens, starts this route, he does something very similar. He's setting this up in the same way, putting himself in position to where he can try to adjust to the football, whereas the defensive back can't. The defensive back has to keep his back turned, and that's kind of why I think Pickens likes to be sort of closer to the sideline than the defensive back, which is not the worst thing in the world to be if you're a defensive back. If you're a corner here, sort of push him there. You can use the sideline as an extra defender. However, as you see, when the throw goes to the back shoulder, Pickens adjusts to it well and is able to make the grab and get that win deep down the field. So because that he kind of knows what he likes to do, knows what he's good at, and takes advantage of it, he is allowed to be able to get a bigger completion there. Also, something like this, where what we're going to see here is he is right there on the field. It's going to be a one-on-one matchup, so a little bit different this time as he will be going over the middle. And as you see, once this play begins, so he gets the inside leverage now that he's going over the middle, and that could potentially be a tell that Pickens might have to work on a little bit. Seems like he kind of will get the leverage that he wants right at the line, which, listen, not the worst thing in the world, because if you can cut in well enough, you might be able to get open. But this time when Pickens cut in, the defensive back was ready for it, and he was able to make the play. So, again, not the end of the world by any means, but I'm trying to show it both. I'm trying to show the good, and I'm trying to show the bad. I want to show both things here, and he's gonna get some wins, he's gonna get some losses. There's some things he has to work on, but at the end of the day, he still is winning. So that's the main goal, is he getting his wins, which he is. So yeah. So was I impressed with George Pickens in this performance? I guess the answer is no. Now, that's not to say I didn't like his performance, didn't think he was good, but I do have high expectations for Pickens. I think he's very good. So I feel like he kind of met my expectations, which is still maybe an accomplishment. I think that this guy is still very good and still is someone who can perform well. So I certainly wasn't mad at his performance necessarily, and I actually think that, given the bigger body of work, you could even argue it's promising, just given what else he's done, that I've been impressed with. So as a whole, my feelings on George Pickens. I've been a big fan of this Pittsburgh Steelers draft class so far, and my feeling about George Pickens is I think that he's playing very well, and I think that he's going to continue to play well. I think he will work at the NFL level. There's just, there's a lot to like about his game. I do like that he can just win. Now, again, the consistency wasn't quite as there as it was in previous preseason games, but he still was getting open. He was still getting wins, and at the end of the day, that's what you want to see. Can you get wins? Can you beat NFL corners? And he can. And so I'm sure he'll be able to do that at the NFL level. Again, it's classic Pittsburgh Steelers stuff too, right? Right when they draft a wide receiver in round 2, you're like, okay, he's probably going to be a star, just because that's what they do. And it's a smart strategy. Get wide receivers in rounds 2 and 3. Those guys have a very similar hit rate to the guys in round 1, but they aren't as valuable draft picks. So use more picks there. It makes sense, and I think he'll play well for them. And he's already playing well. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.